Missy Mari got beats.
Hello there guys, and welcome to another one of my reviews. Today we are taking a closer look at the brand new BMW X4. It's been a while since the car has been launched, and I've been trying to get my hands on one for quite some time now. The moment has finally come. So let's dive right in. The new BMW X4 is built on a whole new platform. It leaves the F26 platform behind and it moves to a new one based on the car architecture, as BMW calls it, or cluster architecture. What that means is basically all cars from the 3 Series up, including SUVs, are built on this scalable and modular architecture, which allows BMW to share a lot of the components in between cars. So as you probably already know, the X4 is basically the same as an X3 underneath it all. The chassis is the same, the suspension is the same, even the design up to the B pillar is the same, both inside and out. The only difference between the X4 and the X3 is the design from the B pillar towards the end of the car, where the X4 is supposed to be a coupe. Now this coupe design is meant to look more stylish, to be more hip, more in tune with the customers. And yes, I just activated the lane assist system to be able to use my hands while I'm talking to you. So no, I'm not driving without my hands. My car is keeping me in lane. But getting back to the X4, the design of the car is meant to be of a sports activity coupe, as BMW calls it. A rather new approach in the field ever since the first BMW X6 came out. The X6 was such a popular choice that BMW decided to offer an X4 one generation ahead, and the F26 came out. Now the G02, this car is brand new. We have a new design inside, which is basically the same as on the X3. It looks very good, it feels very good to the touch. I have some fake leather here on the dash, but even though it doesn't feel like leather, it's still really nice to touch. It's soft kind of plastic. The design inside absolutely works. It's in tune with what you find on a lot of BMWs these days, except for the X5, the 8 Series, the Z4 and the 3 Series. All models launched this year with a new design language for the interior. But even so, the design of the interior design of the X4 doesn't look bad. It's absolutely on par with the competition and with the rest of the range. This car is fitted with some fake aluminum trims, which are actually textured and feel nice to the touch. Has some aluminum trims inside. It's fitted with a lot of options, which makes this car rather expensive. Now today we are testing the BMW X4 in xDrive 25D, guys, which is probably going to be a popular choice in Europe. That's because it comes with a 2-liter diesel engine with 2 turbochargers, so it's a bi-turbo engine, making 231 horsepower and 450 Nm of torque. Now those figures are enough for a car of this size. I know it may seem a bit odd at first, but think about this for a second. BMW decided that the F15 X5, the old X5, was not too big, not extraordinarily that big, that it couldn't be handled by the same engine found on this car. So you could buy the X5 in certain countries with a 2-liter biturbo engine, the same engine as on this car, and BMW deemed it appropriate. So yeah, the engine actually handles the car's weight pretty well. It's also pretty responsive in terms of acceleration, and yeah, it's really good. I see no reason why you shouldn't get one. The alternative would be a 2-liter and a similar 2-liter engine, but with 190 horsepower, the 20D model, or going up in the range would be the xDrive 30D. Now that car comes with a 3-liter diesel engine with a straight 6 configuration. And my guess would be, if you're not limited by taxes, you should probably go for the 6-cylinder engine. The reason I'm saying that is the D57 engine is a lot more refined than the N47 found on this car. It's smoother, has considerably more torque, rated at 620 Newton meters. It has some extra 30 horsepower. And the difference in fuel consumption isn't all that great. Speaking of which, I've been traveling with this car for quite some time now, and the average fuel consumption is 7.4 liters per 100 kilometers. That's mostly highway cruising, so at speeds at about 65 miles an hour to 75 miles an hour. So it isn't bad, 7.4 liters per 100 kilometers covered. But I also had a 3-liter diesel engine on an X3 a while back, similarly for testing purposes. And that car, even though it had more power and more torque and a bigger engine, sipped around 8.5 liters. So you probably save like a liter of diesel every 100 kilometers covered, but that's not a big difference in my opinion. And of course, depending on how much you travel, it could make you lean towards one alternative or the other. The thing is, in some European countries, you get taxed by your engine size. So going for the 3-liter diesel might not be worth it tax-wise. If you decide to go for the 2.5D model, I can assure you it has plenty of power for your daily needs. The engine pulls hard up to about 100 miles an hour. You can overtake easily as long as you don't plan on, I don't know, breaking some land speed record. Inside the cabin, the car is pretty comfortable, and BMW for the first time on the X4 offers optional soundproof windows on the front doors, and a better soundproofed windshield for the X4. Now that's really a shame. This car has this option, but I'm thinking just make it standard BMW. I mean, nobody likes to hear wind noise when driving on the highway or something like that. And I have to admit that it is pretty serene in here. It's quiet. I'm doing 140 kilometers an hour right now, and it really is quiet inside. The seats are comfortable. These are the M Sport seats because the car is fitted with the M Sport package. They come in some red Vernadesca leather, which actually feels nicer than the Dakota leather to the touch. They look good. The whole car's interior is some burgundy red. The seating position is comfortable in the driver's seat, but you also sit pretty high up. Basically, it's the same driving position as in the X3, which I mentioned a couple of times. To me, seems too high up. You're basically sitting above the dash and not behind it. So, to me, it does feel a bit off, but you're sitting really high, and that also comes with advantages, as in the command of the road, and your view doesn't get obstructed. In the back, I can wholeheartedly say that if I adjust the seat, the driver's seat, in my perfect driving position as it is now. And if I go in the back, I will have plenty of room for my legs, my knees, my hands, and my head. I'm 6 feet tall, so about 184 centimeters. So yeah, I have enough room in the back. I'm a pretty heavy guy. BMW improved the room in the back on the new generation and improved the storage in the boot. Now, my biggest issue with this car is the way it looks around the back. BMW somehow decided that making the rear end, the tailgate, and the bumper flush is a good idea. It does resemble the approach offered by Mercedes on their GLC Coupe, which is the rival for this car, but it is too abrupt ending and it's way too flush to be pleasing to the eye in any way, in my opinion. So that's my biggest fault with it. I like the reversed L taillights, I like the design up front, I like everything except for the rear end, which to me feels, I'm just gonna say it, ugly. It doesn't look good. I didn't like the old model either, but it felt better because it had a bit of a stretch on the tailgate, the metal part of the tailgate that closes the lid. So it looked better in my opinion, even though it wasn't great either. So that being said, that's basically the only criticism I have of the X4, which is the design around the back. Now, a lot of people will have a problem with the whole concept of this car, a coupe style SUV. Yeah, I know it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's here. Some people love it, and for them it simply works. If it was my money, this car costs close to 80 grand. 80,000 euros is a lot. It has a lot of optional features too, but I just wouldn't see myself spending this kind of money. I would just go for a 3-liter diesel on a BMW X3, which is more practical, drives the same in terms of handling, dynamics, and so on, comes with the same technology, and looks better in my opinion. So that has been my review of the BMW X4 xDrive 25D. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any additional questions, please don't be afraid to drop a comment in the section below. Until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.